Hey, what's up everybody? Today is Monday, June 22nd. Thanks for joining me. And today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the PPP loan and when it's expiring, which is very soon. But first, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and smash that like button. It would really help me out. And for those of you that have already subscribed to my channel, I really appreciate you. Also, please let me know in the comments below if you still need a PPP loan. I bet we could help you out, or we can figure something out for you to help you get the money that you need. So the PPP loan is expiring June 30th. Now what that means is that you have until June 30th to get a loan number from the SBA, which means if you're still on the fence about it, get your ass up and apply right now, okay? Because depending on who you apply from, it could take several days to get that loan number. You know, it's not always super quick. So in this video, I'm gonna give you some tips on where you should apply and what kind of information that you need to apply in order to get this loan and move through it as quickly as possible. The SBA still has $100 billion left for this program, which is insane. You know, they're not going to use up all that funding. So I'm just curious to where that's going to go. Hopefully, maybe it'll go to the EIDL program, or maybe it'll go to some other programs. But they still have $100 billion left, and like 8 days left for people. And you know, the amount of loans that they've been approving has slowed down dramatically. And I think a lot of people were not applying for it because they were just worried about the 8-week covered period. They were worried about it affecting unemployment. And since they extended the covered period to 24 weeks, I think both of those things are much less of an issue now. So where should you go to apply? I mean, a lot of people have been going to like Chase, Wells Fargo, you know, like their primary banks. But I would highly advise against those primary banks, those big banks. And I hope they don't come after me like the mafia for this. But they're just slow as hell. And I think a lot of them are even out of funding. Like those individual banks have their own allocated funding, and they might not be accepting PPP loans anymore. So I would suggest fintech companies. I would try bluevine.com. That's BLUEVINE.com. And there's also kabbage.com, KABBAGE.com. Those two companies are crushing it. You know, I've had people approved same day within a few hours of applying. I've had my clients that we've helped same day, few hours. So check out those two websites to apply for your PPP. They're really killing it. So if you're self-employed, what kind of documents do you need? First is your tax return. You need to have your 2019 tax return done. Now this is where those fintech companies are, this is the downside of those fintech companies, okay? Because if you work with a bank, especially if you work with a good bank, then they could work around your information, your data, without having you have your tax returns done. You know, you can have your 2018 returns done and have financial statements for 2019. But with these fintech companies, you actually need your tax returns done because they pretty much streamlined the process. You know, that's why they can do it so quickly. They streamline the process, so they just want all similar information. They want just like their set required information. So if you're self-employed, you need your tax returns done because they're looking for that Schedule C. If you're self-employed and you have payroll, you also need to have your payroll reports from 2019, which you should have. You know, if it's, you know, midway through 2020 and your payroll reports are not done and they're not filed, then you're probably in deep shit. So when you're self-employed, you need your tax returns, specifically your Schedule C for 2019 done, and your payroll reports. And if you just started payroll in 2020, then you can have your payroll reports for Q1 2020 as well. Moving on, if you're a partnership, you will also need your tax returns done. Your partnership tax return form 1065, okay? And if you have employees, obviously, same thing. You need your payroll reports from 2019, or if you started paying employees in 2020, you need it for Q1 of 2020. And then lastly, for corporations, S Corp or C Corps, I'll start with S Corps since those are the more common ones. You need payroll reports, okay? If you did not pay yourself a salary in 2019, or in 2020, you will not qualify for the PPP because S Corp earnings are not considered self-employment. So your earnings or your distributions should not qualify for any PPP loan amounts. And if you heard of banks giving out PPP money for S Corps for just distributions, they were not supposed to, okay? In my experience here, some of these banks don't know what the hell they're doing, and they're just issuing money out like no other. And, while that may be great for the applicants, that's actually not proper, it's not legitimate. So, I hope it's fine for the applicant, but my worry is that those people will get their loans reviewed and then they will have to pay it back no matter what. So, stay within the confines of the law, stay ethical. And if you're an S Corp and you don't have any payroll, then you likely will not qualify, unfortunately. Same thing with C Corps. If you don't have any payroll, you will likely not qualify. So just a quick review on how the loan is calculated. If you're a Schedule C sole proprietor, independent contractor, self-employed, you're going to want to look at your line 31 of your Schedule C. That's your net income. Okay? If you had a net loss, then you will not qualify unless you have other employees that you pay. So you look at your line 31 of your Schedule C. If it's a positive number, divide that by 12, multiply that by 2.5. That's your loan amount. You're looking for your average monthly payroll, your average monthly net income times 2.5. Now, that's like the very simple formula. If you pay employees, you have to include that as well. You have to include their average monthly payroll times 2.5. And then lastly, if you pay yourself or your employees benefits, like if you contribute to their 401k, if you contribute to their medical insurance like health, dental, vision, you can also include those amounts in your calculation. So it's payroll plus benefits, average monthly payroll and benefits times 2.5. That's your loan amounts. Because the deadline is coming up very soon, this is not something that you want to mess up. Okay, you only have maybe a couple opportunities to apply here. So if you get denied through Blue Vine, you can check out Cabbage, try again. Maybe, sometimes you might answer a question that was weird and you got denied because of that, or maybe the documentation you provided is not proper and you get denied because of that. The key here is that you don't want to mess this up. Okay, if you're denied, you have to start the process all over again with another bank, and it's going to cost you more time. So if you need help, let me know. Okay, if you need your tax returns done ASAP, let me know. We can help you with that. Okay, we've been rushing tax returns like crazy just for this purpose this month. So if you need help getting your tax return done in a quick manner, let me know. We can help you out. And if you just need some assistance with, applying for the PPP, we do offer consulting for that. So you can schedule a phone call with us. We can do consulting. Obviously we have like a fee for that. But, is a fee worth getting several thousands of dollars for free? Yeah, definitely is. So again, if you're on the fence about this, just apply, okay? You don't have to accept the damn loan. Apply, get your loan number before June 30th, and that will allow you some more time to make the decision. But you do have until June 30th only to get that SBA loan number. Now, if you're on the fence with the EIDL loan, I would apply for that as well, okay? That doesn't mean you have to accept it. You just apply for it, get in the queue. They're processing applications very quickly now. As I mentioned in my last video, I had clients that applied on Monday last week. They got their portal email on Wednesday, very quick. So if you're on the fence for that, start the process there on SBA's website, sba.gov. Therefore, you just want to get as much funding as you need, okay? Especially with a PPP, it's like basically free money. As long as as long as you qualify, as long as you legitimately qualify, it's free money. The EIDL is very favorable terms. You have 30 years, 3.75 fixed rates. I mean, you can't really beat that. So if you're on the fence with any of these, get your ass off the couch and apply right now so that you can get your loan number and you can get in line sooner than later. That's all I got for today. Thanks so much for joining me. Again, please smash that like button and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. I'll see you next time and take care.